Actually, I had some clients in yesterday and they were asking me a lot about vitamin D. And we were talking about how there's a lot of information coming out now where we're evolving to a point where rickets is now something we're afraid of. Children are getting diagnosed with rickets now. And that's something that was, very prevalent in the early 1900s, but something that we've never seen since that time, right? And we're so conscientious of making sure that we aren't having too much sun exposure and things like that because of the ultraviolet radiation, those sorts of things that'll get into your skin and cause spots and those sorts of things. But ultimately, we have to try not to be overcautious either, because you can kind of overdo it, right? So we always encourage people to kind of scale back a bit on the sunscreen. Give them 10 minutes outside with no sunscreen on. Just 10 minutes would give you about 10,000 international units. And that's like almost a week's worth, right? So that's really good for bone health. But also we're seeing in our youth and our young people, more and more of them are also very, they're fighting depression and anxiety, because we live in a society right now where there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of multitasking going on, right? So, people do get overwhelmed and things like that very easily, but it's proven as well that vitamin D is very, very good for, people who get seasonal defective disorder, things like that, where it'll really just kind of ramp up their energy levels a little bit, kind of play on those dopamine receptors and just kind of boost the happiness. Definitely supplements. You have to supplement it in Canada. Even though right here in southern Alberta we do get a lot of sun, we're too far away from the sun for it to actually be vitamin D that we're absorbing, right? We're just getting sunlight. So it's better for us to be able to take a supplement, and it's a fat-soluble supplement. So if you were to be away from home for a week or whatever, you don't have to go and buy more vitamin D. You can just, top it up when you get home and your body will disperse it as it needs. And we use drops at home, but you can use tablets and whatever, but it's something that you definitely want to supplement. There are some vitamin D fortified foods, so like orange juice, things like that. There's some in milk, but there is a little bit of research too on that once it's exposed to the fridge and that sort of thing, and it doesn't really have the amount of vitamin D that it needs. Just take a supplement, and that's very odd, because even for us, when we talk calcium, we try to stay away from supplements. We try to find it in any nutritional source that we can first, and certainly doing a lot of holistic health here, we want to make sure that we can revert to food or to activity or what have you in order to be able to get that supplement. But in the case of vitamin D, it's really tricky. You do really need to take something over and above. Say err on the high side, right? So for most adults, the range is about 800 international units, right up to 2,000. There's people out there that might have maybe some musculoskeletal issues, or maybe they have nerve issues, all different types of things. But I do know some people, their physician will give them even 5,000 to 6,000 international units, depending on what their condition is, and sometimes maybe it's absorption too. But definitely err on the high side here in Canada. Making sure that people are aware. We do want to promote being conscious of the sunlight as well and that exposure. However, we just want to tell people to just maybe take one step back, be cautious of it with your children, but let's make sure that we are giving them a little bit of that exposure so that we can, maybe stay away from some of the issues that we're having now with say rickets, the depression, those sorts of things, seasonal disorder. And also too, there's a lot of people talking from the Cancer Foundation that I've spoke with. We sit on a committee together, a lot of the nonprofits, and they have a lot of evidence talking about how the vitamin D can be very, very helpful for individuals who are battling different forms of cancer as well. So it sounds like it's just an all-around really great supplement to add in. You know, most everything else you can get from other sources, right? Nutrition or what have you.